Good morning, Zio here, and today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. There's a lot of stuff happening, so we're just gonna I don't even know where to start. So we're just gonna go ahead and rapid fire through some of this stuff and just take a quick look. So go ahead and grab yourself some coffee, sit back, relax, and let's get into it, shall we? And yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 has had issues. There's lots of issues and there's lots of things to talk about. I just don't know where to start. There's just a lot there, right? But apparently, we'll go ahead and we'll start here. Cyberpunk 2077 developers will see their bonuses after all. We did talk about this. I honestly don't really remember the details. Talk about them not getting their bonuses or something, and then there was the whole crunch thing and all this other stuff. But yeah, they're going to get bonuses, so that's good. But also, apparently, there are going to be refunds. If you wanted a refund, Sony is reportedly issuing said refunds on the PS4. Apparently, Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS4 and the Xbox, they're not up to par, right? That's the biggest issues, right? Which, of course, is something we will get into at a point. But there is a patch in the works, patch that has gone out, by the way, if you don't know. Apparently there was a issue with Caesars due to a bug and some flashing lights during a certain part. So that has actually gone out and is good to go, which, yeah. That's a good thing. When I was first reading this, it was something about something about somebody complaining about a club. But yeah, there was a visual bug that was causing some quick flashes when it came to one of the characters and stuff. So luckily they did fix that. But yeah, so apparently 2077 is also doing very well on Stadia and the next-gen consoles, but on the PS4 and the Xbox One is where it is struggling. There has been a lot of issues going on, from a lot of graphical issues, and crashes of the games. Seriously, apparently this game crashes on everything except for apparently PC for the most part. There's been a lot of reports that the consoles have been having a lot of issues. PC has had a few glitches here and there, but a lot of the reports is it's playable, while on the consoles apparently it is not playable. And of course this game did launch on Stadia. I know Stadia, you've been asking me to talk about you, so here we go. We're talking about you in a good light, right? You've got Stadia first thing. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Stadia commercials lately, which I hadn't seen in forever. So I figured I'd mention them so they could be happy. Because obviously that's the only reason they kept advertising to me, right? But yeah, apparently we also have this issue here. Game journalists are complaining that there's a nudity problem in Cyberpunk 2077. Aside from the graphical glitches that are happening where certain body parts are sort of coming through, clothing and other stuff. A lot of this is just people complaining about there being, the fact that nudity is apparently present in the game. And it's the weirdest thing, right? But, we can take a look at this real quick. But hey, gaming industry, if your video game includes depictions of suicide, sexual violence, etc., then your video game needs to have a consent warning before you start playing. There's no excuse for this because apparently nobody knows how the ESRB or the pay system works. Yeah. But, you've got these ratings here, and these people are complaining because they need something to complain about. The things to complain about Cyberpunk 2077 is, one, it's unfinished, which we knew was going to be a thing. And that's pretty much it right now. It's unfinished. There's glitches abound. It's unplayable on certain systems, apparently, for the most part. Maybe not so much when this video goes live, but as of recording, it's still slightly unplayable. I can't remember who I was watching live stream it, but it happened quite often where the game would just crash and they would have to reload the game, and it would come up with the thing, and it's like, thing has experienced an issue, and the bar fills up, and then it's got to redo and go back into it. But this kind of thing here is just purely grasping for straws when it comes to game journalists, right? There's no reason to even complain about this. I think this is the PEGI rating, maybe. 18 plus, rated R. I'm not sure who actually who puts R. For here in the States, we have the ESRB, which is a mature rating, right? And it says what's in there: highly impact themes, sexual violence, references, sexual blah blah blah, nudity, and stuff like that. And then this absolute majestic, I can't even think of a thing for who. Anyway, point is, they're not too bright. In the US, games just say M for mature, which also is not true. They do say M for 17 plus, which usually indicates there's probably blood, intense violence or something, but come on now. Intense violence, nudity, sexual content, strong language, use of drugs and alcohol. Not that hard to read the box, people. This is why, when it comes to putting in the fact that the game has monetization of some kind, it needs to be a bit bigger somewhere on the front for people to actually notice it and read it, which is, one of those complaints where they want to tag it as a little bitty sticker down here at the bottom, is like, may contain, whatever they were calling it or whatnot when we talked about the ESRB and gambling and stuff like that, gambling mechanics. But yeah, people are notorious for not actually reading the thing and just then getting upset after the fact. It's like going seeing Deadpool and not realizing that Deadpool is a rated R movie because it's just Deadpool, and Deadpool appeared in that Spider-Man cartoon or something. Yeah. And then getting upset when Deadpool is rated R, and you've got your 10-year-old with you or whatnot, or your 8-year-old, and they're getting words that they don't need to hear, or whatever it is, and then getting upset for it. You buy a mature rated game, and then you get upset because there's mature themes in it. Come on now. No, but one of the other bones that I do want to pick is, let's see. We'll say here, I guess, is the fact that there's so many people out there who are upset that this game is buggy and broken, right? And unplayable in certain areas, on certain systems and other stuff. We did talk about how they did push the game back, and they had valid reasons for doing so. Then they decided they were going to be doing a little bit of crunch after all, and we talked about that as well. They were adding Saturday to their list of the workday, 8 hours, and that was it. So it wasn't like this big issue that, for whatever reason, everybody was getting up in arms about, because apparently they don't know how this sort of stuff works. When it comes to crunch, it happens to affect a lot of industries, and if you really, really want to get upset about crunch, maybe not directly focusing on just game developing. When it comes to crunch, you might want to go check out anyone who works in customer service, the people at Walmart, the people at McDonald's, things like that, because their crutch is 1,000 times worse, in my opinion, than the gaming industry. Yeah, we have a lot of companies out there, especially here in the US, that aren't exactly the best when it comes to, how much they work or how little they work, people, and making them stay for mandatory overtime and then trying to not pay them and all this other stuff because of, say, salary or something. That's a thing to have a discussion about, but crunch is in a lot of industries. When people are working throughout the holidays like we recently had. We had, Thanksgiving all the way to Cyber Monday, essentially. That entire block, for the most part, if you're working at any service industry store, you're not going home for a while. I don't know how many times when I worked at, Kmart way back in the day, that, that 3 days from Thanksgiving over to Friday, I would get off, immediately go to sleep for about 7 hours or 6 hours, and then wake up and immediately go back in, because that's how they did things. So on one hand, I'm not, I guess, as sympathetic to crunch as other people would be. I mean, heck, I've been dealing with overtime now for a good year now. How many months has it been? I guess 11 months since the pandemic hit. And we've been running continuously, and it's just going to get worse if they don't hire us some more drivers. Because the way some things are changing at the beginning of the year. So I may just disappear for a while because I'm not going to be able to sit down and do anything. But anyway, you got these people who are complaining about the game being pushed back, right? That was the whole point of this. I went on a tangent, my bad. But people are complaining about the game, being pushed back. Then it got pushed back again, right? And everybody was up in arms, and I didn't talk about it at that time because I was just like, I'm not going to beat that dead horse again. We've talked about this once before. The previous time it got pushed back, why do it again? And now, what really grinds my gears is those same people are all up in arms on the Twitters or whatnot, on the YouTubes and everywhere else, complaining that, the game is a broken, buggy mess. It's unfinished. Of course it's unfinished. What were you expecting? There's a reason why somebody pushes a game back and then pushes it back, because it's not ready to ship yet. And if they've got that option, they will do that. However, of course, with a lot of groups, there's the whole thing with shareholders and other stuff that kind of prevent that from happening, and then they just send out whatever happens. And it winds up being really bad because they shipped it out too early, because shareholders really, were dictating when that was. But if you have the option, got the ability to keep holding it back until it's done. We did have a pandemic. A lot of these people are working from home because they're afraid to go in due to said pandemic. Regardless of what you feel about the pandemic, people are out there having issues with it. And there is something still in my throat. Gosh. Anyway, I think I need more coffee. But yeah, the game is unfinished. It's not ready for shipping, and it got shipped out. Probably because all these people got upset that it got pushed back again. And then they're going to go on this tangent about how it's a broken, buggy mess. And it's like, duh, what were you expecting? No, I did not get Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out. And I probably won't until next year when the price comes down, because that's just how I am. I generally don't have to have something day one. It's very rare. With the exception of, say, Shadowlands, which I was live streaming when it came out. I did do that, and that also got pushed back about a month from where it was originally supposed to come out. And it was better for it. Luckily, they were able to do most everything they needed to within that month, and there was still a few bugs in that game as well. However, it wasn't as bad, or I guess not as noticeable, I guess is the best way to put it, because for the most part, other than falling through the void, I personally didn't really experience any bugs at all with the newest expansion of WoW on day one. I mean, heck, I even got logged in, for crying out loud, and didn't have to wait. So that was cool. But if companies pushing it back, they're pushing it back for a reason. And then when you force their hand to push it out, and then they push it out in a broken, buggy mess, in my opinion, you've kind of lost all rights at that point to sit there and complain about the game being a buggy mess when you were the ones wanting it out in the first place. So, you've kind of lost your credibility with me on that. But anyway, Let me know what you think down in the comments below. There is a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 news all over the place because that is the thing to do, or the thing to look at right now, because it is the biggest release that came out that people have been waiting at for years. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll talk to you later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.